Fue como un león que empezó a arrancar los pedazos de mi casa. So she said it was like a roaring lion who was stripping my whole house piece by piece. People have to understand, Hurricane Maria had been the deadliest and most destructive hurricane in the history of Puerto Rico since Hurricane San Ciriaco in 1899. It's complicated, but I could tell you that pretty much everybody in the island feel that they let us down. And actually, this week, FEMA released a report about Hurricane Maria, and they finally acknowledged that the way that they managed the things were not the best. And I think that sometimes apologies are not, it's a good thing that you recognize your mistake and moving forward, you reflect on what you could do. But people have to understand that because of their mismanagement and our government mismanagement, we have over 3,000 people that didn't deserve to die that died. So obviously we knew that there was not enough food, there was not enough water. It was chaos. It was a disaster. So that feeling of feeling so hopeless and so helpless was the hardest part. We learned that we have to prepare. Almost every single person that I interview, they said we have to prepare because we didn't prepare good enough. There was no way that we could have prepared for this. Not knowing about your family and whether or not they were okay, that was the worst part. It took me 12 days after Maria made landfall to be able to talk to my parents for the first time. And I feel like one of the things that really kept me grounded throughout that process was this feeling that in my heart, I knew that they were alive. But the part that was killing me was not knowing whether they were hurt, whether they need something. And I couldn't do anything. And the flight attendant said something along the lines, she was talking about all the things that Puerto Rico had went through. But the thing that I remember the most that she said was her last words, which I will never forget. She said, "Bienvenidos a casa. Welcome home." And when she said that, for me, that welcome home was so different. I remember when I was able to see my mom for the first time. I hugged her and I couldn't stop crying. And I remember as I was hugging her, I was touching her to make sure that she was in one piece. I was asking her, "Mamá, ¿te duele algo? Did you need something? Are you okay?" And she was saying, "Yes, sí, okay." That was like when I embraced my parents for the first time. That was one of the most, wow. I couldn't tell you about the anticipation and the anxiety that was creating because I was so eager and so wanting to go home, and I had been started relief efforts and collecting goods because that's all I wanted to know. As you know, this is what people need. I need to make sure that I get as much as I can when I get there. And then just this desperation that I want to be able to see for myself that my family was okay. So the pilot, he was very nice, and he made sure that he could go low enough so we could see what had happened. And that was heartbreaking. Because you have these pictures of your island, where the palm trees are, where the houses, the trees, and what we saw was like a bomb was dropped. Like every time that you get there, it's a part of you that stay there, and then when you leave, you feel that there's a part of you that's still missing. So I know that as I'm talking to you today, I know that there's a part of me that is in Puerto Rico. Una parte de mi corazón que está en Puerto Rico.